Hold up. So they expect, I'm trying to figure this out here. They expect people like this just to be let in, walk across the border, and have no one do anything about it. This is crazy, dangerous, and deadly. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Tirade TV. Thanks for joining me. If you like this type of content, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. All comments are welcome as long as they're tasteful and respectful. You know how I do it. Let's jump right into it. I'm looking at this article here uh, by Mass Central. And what does that read right there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It says Venezuela empties prisons, sends violent criminals to U.S. border, says DHS report, Department of Homeland Security. That is crazy. Let's look and see what it says here. Goes on to say a recent Department of Homeland Security intelligence report received by the Border Patrol instructs agents to look for Venezuelan inmates released from entering the U.S., according to a source within CBP. The report, reviewed by Brightheart, Texas, indicates, first of all, well, let's just continue reading. Um, a recent Department of Homeland Security intelligence report received by the Border Patrol instructs agents to look for Venezuelan inmates released from entering the U.S., according to a source within CBP. The report, reviewed by Breitbart, Texas, indicates the Venezuelan government, under the leadership of Nicolas Maduro Moros, is purposely freeing inmates, including some convicted of murder, rape, and extortion. The intelligence report warns against the freed prisoners have been seen within migrant caravans traveling from Tapachula, Mexico, toward the U.S.-Mexico border as recently as July. So this is nothing new. This has been going on for a little while now. But I don't know how many people actually know this. Goes on to read, the source, not authorized to speak to the media, told Breitbart, Texas, the move is reminiscent of a similar action taken by Cuban dictator Fidel Castro during the Mariel boat lift in the 1980s. The report does not state whether the released prison inmates were traveling as a cohesive group, but does state it was commonly shared knowledge among migrants traveling to the United States within a caravan in July that many of the Venezuelan migrants in the group were convicts and included hardened criminals. Wow. So let's get this straight. Let me see if I understand this here. Illegal immigrants are coming across the Texas-Arizona border. And not only are there just families with kids, but there are also Venezuelan prisoners who could have perhaps been convicted of murder are amongst the illegal immigrants. That's crazy. That is insane to think that these people, especially the Venezuelan prisoners, allegedly can walk across the border and no one in our current leadership cares about it. Like no one. I want you all to picture that. And I don't know if you've seen some video or photos of the prison in Venezuela. Basically, the inmates from the prisons over there, really. I don't even know if you can really consider it a prison because the inmates kind of run everything. But those who are released, they're coming across into Texas, Arizona, into the United States. First of all, I want to know how many mainstream media outlets are reporting that. Not only what they call migrants, but they're really illegal immigrants. They're not reporting that the way they should be. But have any of them said anything about Venezuelan prisoners being released and walking across the U.S. border? And you never really know, because it's not like once they get to the border and let's say they get stopped by someone, border patrol or whatever, and it's not like they're going to say, "Oh yeah, my name is so and so. I was just released from Venezuelan prison." It's not like they're going to admit to it. Let's be honest. But let's get back to the article. See what the article has to say, because no one seemed to really care about this. Let's get back to the next one. It says the report does not specify that the release of the convicts, understanding they would head to the United States, could be a purposeful geopolitical move specifically intended to impact U.S. national security. That is a possibility. It could be, yeah, this could be intended to impact U.S. national security, which it is. Let's be honest with you. It already is. It goes on to state another information gap cited in the report acknowledges the unknown role the Bolivarian National Intelligence Services, Venezuela's equivalent to the CIA, may have played in the deliberate releases. The source says the task of identifying Venezuelans who have criminal records in their home country is nearly impossible. See, just what I was saying. You're never going to really be able to identify, those with criminal backgrounds or criminal records, as it says here. It's almost impossible. It's not like they're going to admit it to you. It says, of the thousands of Venezuelan migrants surrendering along the U.S.-Mexico border, um, say most according to the source are being released into the United States. hmm So basically what's happening is they're being released, and then what happens when they come over here and get caught is they get sent right back over the border and they just walk right back across. There's no accountability anywhere with this. Without effective diplomatic relations with Venezuela, the source says access to criminal databases in that country simply does not exist. Quote, unless we apprehend someone who voluntarily tells us that they have committed a violent crime in Venezuela, we can only guess, and that doesn't work well, unquote, the source told Breitbart. Quote, they will more than likely be released. The source says it is unknown how many have already been released into the interior of the United States to pursue asylum. According to CBP, between October 2021 and July 2022, more than 130,000 Venezuelan migrants have been encountered after entering the United States illegally. And look at this here. In all of fiscal year 2020, less than 5,000 were apprehended. This represents an increase of nearly 3,000%. So basically, it's not getting better, it's getting worse. It's kind of like once they see a crack, you send a few through, all of a sudden that crack becomes a big hole or a big wall or a big gap in the wall, because there's really not much of a wall right now. And everyone is just coming through freely. In one Texas border, in one Texas-based border patrol sector, single groups of hundreds of mostly Venezuelan migrants enter the U.S. states daily. The report does not specify the location or destination of the released convicts. Wow. Well, we know that there's some going to Martha's Vineyard in D.C., Chicago. It's crazy. Frustrated by the increased number of migrant crossings along the southwest border, Republican governors from Texas and Florida began transporting migrants, mostly Venezuelans, to Washington, D.C., New York City, and Chicago. Last week, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis chartered flights for 50, mostly Venezuelan migrants to Texas, from Texas to Martha's Vineyard. The migrants were quickly shuttled from the wealthy island city by National Guard soldiers to nearby Joint Base Cape Cod. So basically, they got those people out of there fast. They weren't trying to lead these, what they call migrants, but illegal immigrants. They're trying to get these people out of there fast. They don't want anything to do with them. Get them out of our neighborhoods, get them off our property. Even though that in Martha's Vineyard, there are plenty of summer homes or rental homes over there, whatever, where people they could actually use to house these people. They're not going to do it, but they expect small border towns in Texas or pretty much at this point the entire state of Texas, because they're pretty sure it's not just the border town. They're probably everywhere in Texas, everywhere in Arizona. There's probably some in Florida. It may even be some that seeped into Louisiana a little bit. Obviously, Southern California. All of those states down there are probably seeing an increase in illegal immigrants. So it's supposed to be okay for those states, but anything north of that, especially places where our so-called leadership lives or resides or have vacation homes, that's not good. And the mayor in Chicago shouldn't worry, because if any of these illegal immigrants have any common sense, after spending about a week in Chicago, they'll probably want to leave anyway, providing they survive to get out of Chicago. And even with that, if someone goes into Louisiana in the New Orleans area, I just read a report where New Orleans has become the murder capital of United States. Again, I don't think this is the first time they've been the murder capital. And I know some very decent, very nice people from New Orleans, but something's going on down there. And leadership down there is not even um, they're not even taking care of the people down there. But if some migrants happen to go that way, they probably won't stay long. They'll probably leave, or probably be forced to leave, or maybe even killed. But another story here I'm looking at, speaking of border towns and illegal immigrants, I saw this here, and this next article I'm about to show you, this is happening down in the southern border towns. This is what's happening. And look at this. It's just according to Fox News here, Texas border town business owner sells family barbecue restaurant after multiple migrant break-ins. Texas business owner Texas business owner says border town is completely overrun by migrants. Eagle Pass, Texas. A business owner near the U.S. southern border says she was forced to sell her family honky tonk after the venue was broken into on 5 separate occasions since February. Quote, I worked alongside my father for 19 years, unquote, said Selena Buentello Price, the former second generation owner of the Wagon Wheel, a local barbecue joint. Quote, one break-in in 25 years. So she's saying only one break-in in 25 years. Now, basically, since February, they've had 5 separate break-ins. That's what's happening down there. That's what's happening in the southern, these are small towns in southern, border towns in Texas. That's what's happening right now. It's already been reported that they're killing people's livestock, they're killing people's dogs, and no one seems to care. Quote, from February to now, I've had 5, Price said. Not only has my business been broken into and ransacked, it's just the insecurity now. You don't feel safe at home anymore. This is, yeah. And what you're doing right now is you're pretty much forcing people in those smaller border towns to basically defend themselves and defend their property. Maybe that's what they want. I don't know. But you can't be blamed. You can't blame them for defending themselves and their property. Let's see, Price said migrants arriving in Eagle Pass often look for shelter and supplies in vacant buildings. Her family restaurant, which had been shuttered since the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, was a frequent stop. The Del Rio sector of the southern border, which includes the small town of Eagle Pass, has had 375,000 migrant encounters since October last year. So it's September now, so a little bit less than a year. 375,000 migrant encounters. And that's according to Customs and Border Protection. Price says migrants have, quote unquote, completely overrun the small town, leading residents and business owners to feel insecure. Quote, the 2 locations down from our original location, our smokehouse and our honky tonk, we have this facility that assist in processing all these immigrants coming in, unquote, Price told Fox News Digital. Who cares, man? That's the whole point. Who's really caring about this? Quote, once they are processed, I literally see busloads on a daily basis. They're just released and they find sanctuary in anything that's abandoned or not. So look at that. They find sanctuary in anything that's abandoned or not. That means if it's abandoned building or abandoned house, they're going to find sanctuary there or not, which means if it's not abandoned, if it's a store or someone's living in a home, it's possible they could find, sanctuary there too. What's stopping these illegal immigrants from coming to your home and kicking you out and taking over? What's stopping them? Not our leadership, not our government. I mean, you have a few governors who are trying, but outside of that, no one else cares. Quote, what I had that I valued, that not only had sentimental value, but actually had monetary value, has depreciated thanks to this mess, the trash, the vandalism, unquote. Mm. Price said she has taken to surveilling her buildings in the early hours of the morning to monitor for migrants. Wow, man, it's really a sad situation. I don't think that I don't know what's the only reasonable solution to this, honestly, and most people may not want to hear it, and some people may even consider it to be racist. But the truth is, the only reasonable resolution to this is to shut the border, to finish the wall, have that big wall completed, and keep people out and let them go through the legal process of entering the United States. It's really unfair to the people who actually did everything they could legally to come into this country, and you have other people who are doing it illegally. Now, I wonder if the United States government, is going to reimburse people who paid a lot of money and used all their life savings to get into the United States. When these people do it for free, they should be asking for reimbursements right now. Completely honest with you. That's how I feel. Anyways, what do y'all think about this? What do you think the absolute resolution is to this illegal immigrant border crisis? And do you think it's time or you think it's past time? In my opinion, it's past time. But do you think it's time that we prepare to defend ourselves and our property and our loved ones, our cities, our homes, our schools, our churches? Do you think it's time for us to start defending them? Let me know in the comments. And also, I was, the Queen Elizabeth just passed recently, and I saw this other article here. I'm gonna play a video clip. Basically, it's a video of BLM activists protesting at the Queen's memorial over some rapper that was killed over there because he crashed his car into the police. And they're protesting. They're basically protesting at the Queen's funeral because of this. Let me share this with you. Tell me all what you think about this, because this is they just show up anywhere and try to show out. Let's take a look at what they have to say. I haven't seen this video in full, so whatever I see here, whatever you guys see for the first time, it may be my first time also. So let's see here.
Most of the fights is normally done by strong black queens, right? This is done by strong black queens. Yes. And I'm about to introduce another one.
They keep putting certain types of people in spaces to discriminate against us, be racist against us, and continue this cycle and process. And there are people that continue to believe in this racist system. They continue to believe in it. So to the point that they keep on trying to defame Chris's character in the media. They keep doing it. They keep trolling and they keep trying. And now we're going to allow them to do that to Chris or anybody else.
We've been treating Chris as if he was our own because he is our own.
because he is our home. Touch one! Touch one! Touch one! Touch one! No justice! No justice! No justice! No racism! We will never allow the victims of this kind of violence on either side of the Atlantic ever to be forgotten. We cannot have a situation where somebody is shot dead through the windscreen of a car and the officer concerned was not immediately suspended from the police force, not from duty, but from the police force.
Yeah. So tell me you haven't seen that before. And guys, I'm telling you, this is the same old story that you hear every single
This guy
time.
here, shout out to
how
him.
these people come
Black
out here and
conservative
act like the
perspective.
suspect.
He Black conservative perspective. Shout out to him. That's who actually put this video out on that I'm aware of. Put it out on YouTube. I'm looking at some of his videos. He does a great job. So shout out to him. But it's like they look for ways to show up and show out. And honestly, they're stupid. Yeah, I said that they are stupid. They're out here defending people who are committing crimes. Now, if it was a legitimate case where someone legitimately was killed by the police, I could see where, okay, yeah, let's find justice for them. But most cases, these people are out committing crimes and the police are trying to stop them. And they put the police lives in danger, or they're, ramming their cars into the police, shooting back at the police, whatever. That's what most of these people are doing right now. And it's leaving the police. I mean, and a police officer has has very hard decisions to make right now. So I don't know. What do y'all think about that? They show up at the Queen's Memorial with this mess. Bold. I give them that. They're bold. I can definitely give them that. But they're also stupid. Like, do I believe that Black lives matter? Yes, Black lives do matter. But so do white lives. So do police lives. So do Hispanic lives. So do Asian lives. Like, everyone's lives matter. Or what they used to say back in 2020, all lives matter, right? But gotta stop this. Gotta stop this. It's I really think, in my opinion, that they want to force some kind of civil war. I don't know if it'd be a civil war in the sense that people just stop communicating with one another, or will it be like an actual physical civil war where you have these groups like BLM and Tifa, you know, and more than likely they would be on the side of the government at this point against everybody else. Like, it could very well come to that. And I do think this particular administration that's leading our country right now, they do love to gaslight. They try their best to gaslight. They try their best to get some kind of emotional response or reaction from um, really Republicans, but just people in general. And they're wanting people to go out and, think irrationally and do something stupid, commit crimes, go kill someone, go rob stores or whatever, start riots. That's what this leadership wants. You know how I know that? Because they have not done anything to stop it. Either you want it or you don't. Either you can stop it or you can't. And they've done nothing to stop this. Nothing. Including the illegal immigrants coming over across the southern border. They've done nothing to stop it. So common sense would tell you, if they've done nothing to stop it, then they actually want it. They welcome it. I don't know. What do y'all think about this? I mean, there's a lot of things going on in this country right now, and no one basically have the guts, no one within leadership, not many, let's put it that way. There are a few leaders out there who are trying, but the people who are supposedly the true leaders, they're not doing anything. They're getting in front of the camera, basically lying to our faces, letting people know that everything's fine, letting people know that the economy is fine, letting people know that basically they're still not even admitting that there are still food shortages. There are still baby formula shortages. You got this buffoon over here in California, have people, not being able to charge their electric cars and all of this. I mean, no one cares, you know. But meantime, you have possible Venezuelan prisoners coming across the southern border. And who's to say how much fentanyl is coming across with these prisoners or with anyone else? There are too many people dying of fentanyl right now, but that doesn't seem to be an issue. They're worried about the next variant. They're worried about the next jab. It's crazy. They're worried about Ukraine, possibly sending more money to Taiwan. And we have all this going on. Mississippi still doesn't have great water. The basic water. Anyways, let me know what you all think about this. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And once again, as I always leave you, please, we must continue to be a praying nation and a praying people. See you.